Hey guys, it's Kelsey and I'm back with another scrapbooking process video. So this is layout 7 with my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit for this month. So we are still using P13. This is mostly New Moon. It has some Soulmate. But yes, so I am scrapbooking my souvenirs from my St. Augustine Savannah trip that I took last Labor Day weekend. That's what most of these pictures are this month from this trip. And I love getting souvenirs. I love getting something that reminds me of things I've been. I feel like a lot of scrapbookers are that way because we're very sentimental and we want to keep little pieces from different memories. Problem I have though is when I get a lot of souvenirs that are just little trinkets with like the city's name on it or something, they kind of accumulate and a lot of them end up not being very meaningful. So I've had an issue in the past where I end up with a bunch of little trinkets that I don't really want after I get them home. So going forward, I've been like this the past couple years pretty much. I'm just trying to get souvenirs from places that I want either as home decor or that are more meaningful or something kind of cooler than just a little trinket with a name on it. So I did really good with that, like in my Hawaii trip. I got a couple home decor things that reminded me of that trip, and there is some symbolic or some kind of meaning behind it. Like when we went to Maui, I got a wooden whale fin since that's where we went whale watching, so that kind of thing. So this trip I decided to get a rock from each city that we went to just because I knew I would like to use those as home decor. I love having plants or rocks or some kind of thing in and amongst my bookshelves. I love decorating with them. I just think they're so pretty. And I don't have a very big collection, but I just thought this would be a good chance to get a couple rocks one from each city we visited as my souvenir. And I really like that, and I really like what we ended up picking up. So I have two photos here. The blue rock is called the Celestite, and it was sourced from Madagascar, but I picked it up in St. Augustine. And the other one is a clear quartz, but it's been treated so that it cracks. And so I think I mentioned this in my layout share. I actually filmed my layout share before I filmed my last 3 process videos. So some of this information may be repetitive when you get to the layout share. But for the crackle quartz is what they call it. They heat it up really hot and then they shock it with a cold temperature and it cracks the inside of the rock without like it keeps the whole rock whole. I don't know how they do it. It's really cool. But anyways, it creates all of these inclusions in the rock that are very rainbowy when the light hits it, and it was just so pretty. So these are my 2 souvenirs from this trip, but because it is not one of those little trinkets that has the city's name on it, I wanted to do a scrapbook page about it so that I don't forget what they are and where they came from and which one I picked up in which city. So that's why they're making on a page, and they're just pretty. They're just gorgeous. So I really thought this collection would be appropriate because one of the pattern papers from New Moon actually has like crystal faces on it, like gemstone faces. It's very subtle, but the white paper with the yellow kind of geometric design is actually like crystal faces. So I thought that would be really cool to use on this page. I actually had one fussy cut from this pattern paper for earlier in the month and I haven't used it yet, so I figured this would be a great page to get that on. But I do have a couple scraps of this plank wood grain from an earlier page, so I'm just trying to create a little corner detail. I wanted to use those little scraps because they're pretty and I didn't want to throw away any of this paper, so I'm creating little corner clusters with those little scraps. I have these little cork hearts from Pink Paisley that have some gold glitter in them. I thought those would look really nice with this collection as well. And then I just layered one of the Soulmate label stickers behind both of those. So I wanted to get those corners down really quick because I thought that was a cute little detail, and I could pretty much do anything design wise in the middle of the page and those corners would still go fine. So I'm pulling more of this wood grain into the middle clusters. I'm just trying to use this little scrap up here. So I figured I'd have a little shelf branching off of these photos, and I already matted both of these photos on white and distressed them and glued them together slightly staggered so you can see those corners. And now you can see where I'm creating my little embellishment cluster with that fussy cut gem. And this little owls aren't really I don't know, on theme, but they're really cute, and there's 2 owls in these Soulmate tags that I thought were really cute and I just wanted to use them. I love this circular white owl and I love where it's sitting because you can see it's facing into the page and looking at the rocks. But you see I'm creating my secondary cluster here with the other owl, which I think turns out really cute. I'm doing some twine bundles. I'm popping this little gemstone fussy cut piece on some foam, and then I will layer the other owl on top of that. I love that little cluster I'm creating. The problem is that cluster looks weird anywhere other than the left side of these photos because having that wood grain shelf coming out is just the perfect spot for it to sit. I could have moved the wood grain shelf to the other side and had it branch out the other way, and in hindsight I probably should have done that. But what happens is I move the white owl to the top of the page in its own cluster and end up putting the banner there just because the way I have it laid out currently without moving that wooden shelf, that's the best place for this big banner to sit for my eye. So that's what ends up happening. I really like how it looks design-wise, other than the owls are facing off of the page. So the little teardrop-shaped owl embellishment is looking to the left off the page where it's going to sit, where the white owl is currently. And then the white owl ends up looking off the page to the right. So that bothers me a tiny bit design-wise. I know we usually like subjects or icons or animals to be facing into the page. It's just better for the eye because it directs your eye to what the animal is looking at. So it bothers me slightly that these are facing off in directions, but I do end up putting some word stickers in front of where the owl is facing. So it's almost like it's directing you to the sentiment, even though the owl itself is facing off the page. So you'll see what I mean in a minute once I finally get this kind of figured out. But I just figured I'd explain my thought process and just note that I know they're looking off of the page and I did think about it, but I didn't want to, change where the shelf was. And part of it is that wooden shelf, you can see it's a scrap and there's this weird cut in it where I used it for something else. So having this shelf off of the left of these photos was really the only place I could use it without, having to cut more of that off and have less of it showing. So anyways, that's just my thought process on how I decided to lay these out. So yeah, I'm just trying to get those glued together. I can't see what I'm doing right now. I don't know if anyone else uses iMovie, or if you're not a YouTuber and don't edit, you might be confused why sometimes if there's something at the bottom of the screen, I say I can't see it because I know you guys can. The sound bar that shows how loud I'm talking lays right over the bottom third of the layout as I'm watching it during playback to do the voiceover. So sometimes I can't see what's going on at the bottom of the screen. Just if anyone was curious, I thought I would give that little behind the scenes. That's what I mean when I can't see something at the bottom. But that banner is where it's going to sit, where it is now. And now you can see the owl is facing off the page. And yes, it bothers me, but not enough to change this layout. So yeah. And then here's that gemstone paper you can see I'm talking about. It just looks like a bunch of cut stones. I don't know. I thought it was really appropriate, especially because it's a page about rocks. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces of that to make it look like there's a large band behind, like a large pattern paper behind these 2 pieces. And I'm just trying to straighten up this wood grain a little bit because I do think I'm trying to make it look like the wood grain to the left stretches underneath the blue rock. So I'm just trying to figure out a way to do that without, you being able to tell that I patched that up. But for right now, I'm just going to get the gemstone paper down. I'm just trying to get that to look like one big layer. I'm getting towards the end of this kit. I have, I think, 2 more layouts to voice over right after this one. And then I did a layout share. So I'm getting towards the end. And I think this is my second to last 12 by 12, this nice, really pretty pink background paper. So I'm trying to use the scraps and not cut into the last 12 by 12 because I really want to get more out of this collection. I said in the beginning I was really hoping to get more than 9 layouts out of this collection. So this is number 7. So yeah, still being really stingy and trying to stretch the products, but I'm happy with how the layers are looking. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I do next. I made this layout over a week ago, so it's really hard doing the voiceover like not right afterwards because I can't remember exactly what order I do stuff. But yeah, now you can see I'm just trying to patch that little wood grain shelf. I really just want this little tiny scrap to be seen underneath this blue rock, so that it looks like that wood grain stretches farther than it actually does. But because I don't have a piece as wide as the one on the left, I can't have it poking out past the photo because then you'll see it's just a tiny little scrap. But I think that's just enough to kind of trick the eye to make you think that's a bigger piece. Even if it doesn't, it hits that brown in one more spot, so it's not just hanging off to the left by itself. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that as far as my paper layers. I do want to create another cluster with this other owl. I really wanted to get both owls on this page, just because they're so cute, and we're getting to the end of the kit and I still have a lot of banners and tags to the left there, so I wanted to at least get these two on here. And I do have a little cork geo tag that came in the pack with those two cork hearts, so I wanted to get that used up as well. So I'm just trying to create a little embellishment with all of that in the upper right hand corner. And I do take another piece of that little wood grain plank to cut into a banner up there as well. And you'll see me do that with these stickers. I really want to get some more stickers on here, so I have two word stickers I'm going to put by the white owl, and I'm going to cut those into banners as well, just so it looks like a bunch of little stacked banners next to each other. I think that looks really cute. This pink sentiment says "Time to Shine." I'm trying to get a lot of the shine sentiments on this one because they're sparkly rocks, and I thought that was really appropriate. So this pink one says "Time to Shine." I do add a white one with navy text that says "I love the way you shine." And then there's two navy ones I end up adding as well. There's one that's going to go down by the other owl that says "Sparkle." Thought that was appropriate. And then one on the bottom right side of the rock I will add that says "You shine." So lots of repetition, lots of sparkle and shine sentiments, but I thought if there was any page to put those on, it's this one. Especially because I do have these little cork hearts that have the glittery gold on them too, so that's sparkly as well. So I just thought it all went together. That looked really cute, and it was a chance to get those kind of words used when I don't use them that often. So here you can see me going through the rest of that sticker sheet to see what else I can pull in. And I definitely want to use both of them. I really didn't need another cluster down there on the bottom right side of the Blue Rocks photo, but I just felt like the sentiment needed to sit there, so that's where I put it. But there you can see the sparkle. So now you can kind of see what I mean about the owls. Like, they're looking at the sentiment, so it kind of directs your eye to what I want you to read. So I still think it's okay. And there you can see my little dish of embellishment from my stash. I went through all of the dimensional embellishments that was included in this collection, so I wanted more. So I tried to stay on theme with what Christina first put in this kit, with the wood grain and the stars and all of that. So I basically went through my stash and pulled in some wood grain hearts and stars and paper clips and anything I thought went, so I could continue using these more dimensional embellishments. Because I used everything she sent me. So I'm just gutting this paper, of course. There's this huge chunk of this really pretty pink pattern I did not want to waste, so I'm going to save that chunk for another layout. And I think I'll patch this up really quick too. Yep. I really like doing this. It helps. You don't have to patch the back of your pages like I do here, because once they go in the page protector, they stay safe. Mine have never fallen apart when I don't do this. But I have so much of this black paper. This paper is just what comes pre-filled in the page protectors of my album. So I literally have hundreds of this really cheap black paper. So that's why I like to use that to back these. It just adds some stability. I don't have to do it, but I have it, so why not? And it does help with gluing these layers together, that there's something I can actually glue all these layers to instead of it just going over a hole. But I'm back with my Plastine stencil. Plastine. I can't talk. It's still early. I'm sorry, you guys. But this Plastine stencil is super cute. I forgot where I got it from. It may have been some Happy Mail or prize, or maybe Tuesday Mornings. Either way, I have no packaging for it, so I'm sorry, people who've been asking me about it. I do not know where that came from. but I'm pretty sure if you just Google like +stencil, you'll see something. I think its name was Positive, is the name of the pattern, but I don't know what brand it was or where it came from. The more I think about it, I think I got it from Tuesday Mornings, but I cannot remember what company it was. I know it was a company I've never heard of before, but it's just a simple little +sign stencil, and I just wanted a little of that gold and mixed media on this page as well, especially because the layers are pretty simple. This page ends up really simple. It's really not that complicated. I'm just trying to use up some things in this kit that I've had a hard time using. So yeah, I just wanted a little bit of mixed media to add some interest and another texture and layer. And it's just pretty. I tried to use this mixed media as much as possible this month. There are a couple layouts I didn't use it on, but for the most part, I've got it on almost every page, I think. And then I'm just using some Tombow Mono Multi liquid glue to glue these stars down. I love the wood veneer stars that Christina included in this kit, but I use them all. So I have my not as cute wood veneer stars from my stash, but they will do the trick. And I like that it carries that theme throughout all of these pages, especially because most of the pages I've made this month is from one trip. So I do like that cohesiveness throughout all of them. I still have lots of pages to go for this trip that was not, I obviously won't have this collection to scrap with, but I wanted to get as many photos from this trip as I could done with this one collection. So they all look really nice in the album together. And now I'm doing my title. I really just wanted to call it Souvenirs. I didn't have an E though, and I didn't have an I. So I took an L and I snipped off the bottom part of it to add to the E. And then I was left with an I. So I did sacrifice an L to get the 2 vowels I needed. And then I wasn't going to put this little hashtag, but that cute little puffy alphabet had one on there, and I figured why not use it. So I'm just going to call it #souvenirs. And here you can see I went back with that scrap of wood grain just to add one more banner to this top cluster. I just wanted a part of that wood grain to be represented in that area, just because that brown was nowhere in that part of the page. I just wanted to bring your eye and balance that brown across the layers. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just trying to figure out how I want it layered. But I think that's the last thing I need to add to that cluster. I did throw some golden white twine through both of these tags, and I'm still trying to get these stars down. I do like my liquid glue, the Tombow Mono Multi, to dry a little bit before I put them down, just because it's still very tacky and sticky, but if I change my mind, I can pull them up and move them and they're still sticky. If you use the Tombow Mono Multi while it's still wet and you stick something down, it's down. You're not moving it without ripping the paper. So I do try and let it dry a little bit, just in case I do need to tweak something. I'm not going to damage the paper. So that's why I laid them out to the side for a little bit while they dried. And then I did just want a little bit more layers, just because this is a more simple page. So I do have some skinny washi with just some white washi with pink hearts on them. I thought it was a really cute soft detail. So I'm adding that top and bottom of this yellow gemstone paper. I think all the paper layers are done after this. I'm trying to remember what I do next, but I think we're almost there. I do want to do a little bit of journaling because, again, I want to make note of what these rocks are called, where they came from, and which city I got them. So I will just journal that with a navy pen underneath the photos, just so I can keep that information. That's literally the whole reason I'm doing this scrapbook page, is to have that information, because I'm worried that if I didn't have this page, I would forget where I got these rocks from down the road. And I want to remember which city I got them in, because it'll remind me of everything we did in that city, which I thought was really sweet. So here I'm doing my journaling. Again, it just says Madagascar Celestite St. Augustine and Brazilian Crackle Quartz Savannah, with a couple little hearts. So there we go, and here are the close-ups. Like I said, did already film my layout share, so I do show you these rocks in person when I do that, if you wanted to see them. But yeah, here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.